The components in aerospace and defense, that's the backbone of the industry. It's really an infrastructure play.
Today's guest is co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Zulu Pods, which develops advanced fluid delivery systems for aircraft, drones, and high-performance platforms. Please welcome Rob Sladen.
The advantage we have, too, that a lot of component companies don't have, is that we understand the system really well. So we understand things at the system level, which then it makes it really easy to know how to design how these components should function. I think we got to try to be perfect because we're going to have to make, even though they're going to be low cost and they're going to be expendable and attritable, they have to be great still. The stuff that we deliver to the warfighter has got to be the best technology that they can get their hands on.
You're going to have to put a variety of different components on drones if you're going to actually put drones in the air, because one supplier is not going to be able to solve this. Rob, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. We're pumped to be here.
I know you flew all the way in from Fort Lauderdale to sunny San Diego, huh?
Yeah. It was the same weather pretty much. But we were excited to come out. So we'll make any trip for a podcast like this. So. We
love it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, maybe let's start with your background, right?
And then you got to give me yours though, right?
That's can do cool. That. That's fine.
Yeah. So I from a professional career standpoint, I guess I'm an engineer by like education, and most of my career, I guess we'll call it. Sometimes I think using careers these days is like weird because people don't stay at a job anymore for 30 years. But anyways, I spent 15 years at Pratt and Whitney. I led engineering teams working on next generation propulsion stuff. I worked usually in mechanical systems, oil systems, like very niche stuff that is, I like to talk about as like the blood of a propulsion system, pretty important stuff, but often gets overlooked. And working with the Air Force in the latter part of my career there, then and always like big engines, so large jet engines. And then towards the tail end of my career there, I started seeing that there were like these little engines that was like people, hit with a shrink gun that I never knew existed. And this was like 6-7 years ago before all the rage in Expendable and Attritable. And so spent a little bit of time 3D printing, unitizing parts in expendable jet engines. So I did that for about 1.5 years with, took like hundreds of parts and unitized it into one on Pratt's TJ150 engine. And then we spun up Zulu Pods in like 2020. So I've always been in the aerospace and defense world. It's all I know. I'm 41. I've been doing it for 20 years. Yeah. That's my professional, I guess.
And there's a huge corridor on the engine side of things in Florida, which is like a really good place for you to be, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Florida. Actually, Florida and Connecticut, two good areas for propulsion. But in Florida, you have some of Pratt, right? They have like a West Palm Beach facility. You have Sikorsky there. You have a ton of aerospace and defense in general in Florida. So good spot. And then we have at Zulu, we have a manufacturing facility, our R&D facility. That's in Massachusetts, which is pretty close to a lot of the action in Connecticut. And so, I'm a jet engine geek, I guess.
Yeah. So let's kind of drill in a little bit about like, what was the impetus to be like Zulu Pods needs to exist?
Yeah, so the origin founding story is my wife's an aerospace engineer too. And so we were driving to Orlando, our kids were asleep in the back, and we started talking about what the next generation of components should look like for expendable jet engines. And this concept of having like a full circulating oil system with a tank, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense for something that drives for 45 minutes, right, or half an hour. It's like if your car was designed to drive for a mile, you would design it differently.
Totally
right?
Different.
No trunk, blah, blah, blah. So the alternative was they use fuel for these little turbojets, but then it's like driving down the street with a hole in your gas tank. That doesn't make sense because you're carrying fuel and you're not burning it. And so we just saw an opportunity, right? So if those are the only two solutions that exist, neither of them are good solutions, right? Mm-hmm. Neither of them are optimal. And so we started thinking about this idea of a packaged oil delivery system that would be perfectly sized, like the perfect component for 45 minutes. When I say perfect, it shouldn't last for 50 minutes. If the mission is 45 minutes, it should last for 45 minutes. So that first principle type of thinking, which I would say wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now when you start to think about matching stuff to the mission, because we're seeing it's more and more important to do that.
Of course.
Is what spawned Zulu Pods, right? So that was the car ride conversation. My wife is brilliant. She was like, she went and started doing designing it, get some of our early IP, and that's what sparked Zulu Pods. So just seeing an opportunity, seeing something that was not ideal, and then also having a pretty good idea of what the market was going to start to look like even back in 2020. And some of that was just time spending in the industry and seeing where things were going, right? And so that's how we launched Zulu. I brought a Z Pod with me.
Great.
So this is our it's called the Z Pod. Packaged oil delivery is
This is really cool.
So I guess just one more piece. We'll nerd out for a moment, and then we can. I'm curious. I want to learn more about you,
Sure.
of course. But some of the novel stuff that we do is we split the functions of like cooling and lubrication. And so the genius in some of this in the product is we take a little bit of air off the turbojet before it gets really hot, and we use that to actually power the pod. And it's like little ants marching along with the air oil combination. And so the air does the cooling and the oil does the lubrication. And when you split the functions, you can use a lot less oil. And then as a result of that, you don't need to have like a circulating system. So whatever goes into the engine, it's so little oil that it doesn't matter. It's okay. And that's just a way better solution than the ones I was saying with a circulating oil system, like the one you have in your car, or using fuel because you don't burn it. So the market really is adopting our solution and our approach, and it's been pretty exciting.
Why do you think legacy manufacturers haven't thought of solving the problem this way?
I think. I think what happens in a lot of these larger primes, which dominated the market until you got some of these neo primes, like guys like you entering the market. They end up just using that works, so we'll just keep doing it, right? Like they take a lot of stuff, especially in the jet engine world. Like companies that make little jet engines probably make big jet engines. They take a lot of stuff from the big jet engine world and they just say, "Oh, we'll use this for the little engine world."
Sure.
It works, right? So they carry that over. And I don't think there was as much of a need as there is today for like pricing pressure and all the pressures that go now into designing like the perfect component, the best solution, the one that leaves the least amount of margin on the table. I think there's more pressure these days. The oil systems are also overlooked. Like you're gonna go make a jet engine, you want to make sure you make the best combustor, the best compressor, the best aerodynamic efficiencies. And at times, and things get overlooked. So I think there's a bunch of things that go into it. I don't really know exactly why. But things are different now. Now we have people coming to us when they, especially like clean slate design or retrofit stuff, and they're asking us a lot of things around like how should we do this?
Sure. So let's change gears for a second here. Okay, go back to like when you decided to launch the company.
Yeah, sure.
How did that feel?
Oh man, I think it was pretty like scary, but also felt really right at the same time. We had a really good early. I mean, we have a great team in general, but we have a great founding team. People that have different skill sets, like all the right pieces that you need to get started. So I think that made it feel like really right and real, and like we got to do this. And I always wanted to start something, and I have the attitude and that I could go get another job. Like, somebody will hire me to do something. Like, like I'll figure it out. So, yeah, it just felt really right and scary too. But I mean, it's the best. No matter what happens for Zulu, and there's great things going on. But I'll look back at this and go, that was a great decision. I'm sure. Like, how about like for you? I mean, you founded a bunch of companies now, right? And been very successful. Yeah. Go back to like what was like some of the first one. What was like the first one?
The hardest
one
one is just jumping in for the first time, don't you think?
Yeah,
like,
just
doing it. You don't really
right?
know, and you need to figure out how you pay your basic bills.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you
or not.
Yeah. But it sounds like you think about it like kind of I do, where if you kind of think of life as a game, and you're just playing. This is a turn.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, you go get another turn and go get a real job or go start another company. But like, you know, for me, it's always been about fortune favors the bold.
Yeah.
And so like, if you're going to go make it, you got to jump in.
Yeah.
Unless you got a rich dad. I don't have one of those.
Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have that either. I think like the Peter Thiel comment to Zuckerberg. I saw this interview, and he's like, the biggest risk you could take in a dynamic world is not taking a risk, right? And I look at life like, okay, I'm gonna live till, I don't know. Hopefully I'll live for a long time, but if I take a bunch of shots at things, 5, 6 shots, I gotta hit one of them,
bro.
I gotta hit 2 of them.
Shoot or
right?
shoot.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
So I think I don't think everybody has. I think some people think like that. Other people, they don't think like that. I think there's just 2 sets of, if we want to look at like binary humans out there, like
totally. And I think 95% of them fall into the other category.
Yeah. Like where it's crazy. I saw this quote the other day too. This is a good one, but I think it was a Warren Buffett one where he said something like, people will spend 40 years working for somebody else, but won't have the patience to work for themselves for 3 years. That's another good one, right?
That's a really good one. Yeah. I think the other thing too is it takes just as much effort to do something big as it does to do something small. Yeah. So might as well do big things. Yeah. Right.
And doing, like we always say at Zulu Pods, like we've got a few different, thoughts, quotes, whatever you want to call them, but like it's worth doing hard things.
For sure. What do you wish you knew when you started that? Now
how to I mean, we still haven't, we're getting better at this because we have some VCs now in Zulu Pods, but how to talk to VCs, how to talk about how to go raise capital, and the important things to be hitting on, and not losing some of those social tokens that you get early, where you only get so many social tokens. I mean, one thing is there's an element of not knowing anything, like, because that maybe could be seen as a blessing, like just diving in and not knowing certain things. I don't know. I feel like a part of me is like, if I don't know if I would have, maybe I wouldn't have done it if I knew certain things, like how, the road to get to the first $1 million in revenue.
How hard it actually is.
Yeah, how hard it is to actually win like a phase 2 SIBR. And like the timelines it takes to actually get more than $125K in SIBR dollars.
Yep. Was raising money hard for you?
We've raised over like $8.5 million in angel money through like 25K checks, 50K checks, 100K checks. We've now got a publicly traded strategic that sits on the cap table, and they're a great partner. And we've got some VCs in the mix now. Yeah. We actually had a publicly traded firm come in before we had a VC come in.
Why do you think that was? Because they understood the actual problem set better than the VC?
I think that's probably a part of it. I think they also very much, they're also a company that like we're right in their wheelhouse in terms of like what they're good at in terms of buying companies type of a thing. So I think what's cool now about what's going on with Zulu Pods, and this is sort of like I can connect the dots looking backwards. We've got a lot of customers now that are coming to us and saying, well, okay, you make this, the equivalent of an oil pump or a Z-Pod, right, which is, let's call it an critical external component on a jet engine. But now we're on not just turbojets, we're on turbo generators, we're on rotary engines, and we also have people coming in like, hey, can you make us fuel pump? Can you make us turbine air starters? So like, if I was going to do it all over again, and I knew this now, and the vision or what we'd be selling to VCs would be, we're a component company, but it's a step more than that. It's an infrastructure company. It's like very much when I look at some of the things you guys are doing, like these are like, especially the components in aerospace and defense. That's the backbone of the industry. Like it's really an infrastructure play. Yep. And if I was smart enough then to sell that dream, probably.
Now you're saying the right words to the VCs.
Yes, exactly.
They love the I word.
Yes, yeah.
Infrastructure for defense,
so
baby.
It took us a long time to figure out the vision, I guess.
Okay, so you're starting to figure out the vision. You got products. This is pretty cool. I thought it was a vape. I tried to smoke it. what do the next kind of 12 to 24 months look like for you?
Getting through final certification, altitude testing, flight testing with customers.
Sure.
Winning and executing on a pretty critical Army contract where we're the prime contractor and a large rotorcraft OEM. We're going to sub to them. So that's cool because the Army likes this as a backup lubrication solution, right? So small footprint.
Teeny.
Tiny. So that's important to execute on this primary contract. Go secure more bill of material, in new customers. We're on like 10 platforms now. I think we can get to 15 to 20 over the next 12 to 18 months and start to develop some of these other products that, inbound customers are coming to us. So we got to go execute on, start delivering them more, start developing more components. So if we do those things over the next 12 to 18 months, right, grow this product, execute on some of the backup oil system stuff, and be able to launch 2 to 3 new products, sell those, do some development testing with those, I think the future gets even brighter than it is right now.
So what I hear is like the classic entrepreneur excitement and worry in the same answer, which is how we all live, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance those things?
Well, one thing that we all try to do at Zulu Pods is just wake up every day and just try to make the best of every day. Don't really worry about don't worry about yesterday. Like Kurt Signetti, we love him. Like this whole idea of like every play is a new play. So or maybe that was Saban. I don't know. One of them said that. But wake up every day. Try to just get as much as we can out of the day. Control what we can control. Yeah. There's a lot of things we can't control. Delight our customers. Deliver ahead of schedule. Try to be super reasonable with cost structure. We try to do those things. I mean, you just gotta at some point. You just gotta tune some of the other things out. And I think over time too. And I'd be curious.
Sure.
I'd be curious how you look at this and what messaging you give to your team. But at some point, you just become like it. Just becomes the things that can, I don't know, make or break things. Like it just becomes part of the. It is who you are as an entrepreneur. It is part of the company. Like I guess you could become sort of immune to it at some point, or right? Like,
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. For me, like I always use the analogy of like a boat or a surfboard, right? So stay in the boat because you're gonna have big waves or small waves. Same thing, surfboard,
that's a good one.
right?
Yeah.
But then I naturally just have figured out to do exactly what you do, which is I every day I flush the last day.
Yeah.
And then you go and you show up and you're like, all right, what's the best thing I can do today?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just keep moving forward. But for me at least, and I'd be curious to ask you, you got to have exciting things you're working towards.
Yeah.
Because it will help you then balance the natural stress and worry that running a company creates, like, every single day, every single hour, right?
Like what for you, like, okay, like you and the team, what is something that you guys are looking forward to where you're like, it's such an amazing milestone that it could change the trajectory no matter, even if you're weathering a tough, I don't know, 6 months. Like what?
We've won a number of contracts where the end user's deciding where to go send our mobile factories. When they get set up and we start building stuff, Oconus, that is going to fundamentally change how we think about logistics, supply chain, and warfare.
So for that, and that's your your on-site, manufacturing facility, right? Let's call it something.
We'll take you through one in a minute.
So what, like when you talk about some of those milestones, then where does that go next? Like
the unlock is amazing because basically what will happen is DOW is like waiting to see how well it will go, and then you'll have just mass adoption. And
you guys already know it's going to go well.
We've been doing it for over a year. Yeah, exactly. So
like it's a dog and pony show more than anything else, right?
It is. And the analogy I'll give you is if you can set up for weeks at a time a system in the swamps of Louisiana and have it work, you can literally set this thing up anywhere.
Yeah. That's a
Right?
good test area.
Yes.
Super hot, high humidity.
Unbelievable
right?
humidity. Like hundreds across the board from heat and humidity.
Yeah. And that matters a lot for 3D printing so your facilities are immune.
Climate controlled, humid. Yeah, you'll see. We've built all this in with the idea that it needs to work in the Arctic or it needs to work in, the southern Philippines.
Yeah. That's awesome because I could see how. So a couple things. Knowing, like, your team knows that you're going to succeed because you've been working super hard to make sure that you will succeed. And that sort of future-looking milestone, like, even if you're having a couple bad weeks or some folks are having, some tough stretches, like, it's got to give people, like, that's an easy reminder.
You got to look forward to,
let's
here's
look
the
to
big
that.
goal.
Yeah. And we're going to kick butt there.
Yeah, and that, and so, we try and basically build a mission statement you can always check down to. So this year's mission statement is win the Pacific. Of course, a war started in the Middle East. That's distracting a lot of our attention.
Yeah.
But again, I think always being able to check down to simple, straightforward goals is really helpful in like what is a marathon building exercise of starting and building a company. Yeah.
Now, for you guys, how much of your stuff, how much of your stuff do you have to buy versus make? Like, can you make
a mix.
Everything?
Yeah, it's a mix. We build a lot of the airframe, a lot of the wing structures, all that type of stuff. And then we build the software that allows for really easy integrations. One of the things people are missing in this industry is, we're seeing this right now, when the flag goes up and you actually realize how terrible, unfortunately, we are in this country across the defense industrial base, you're going to have to put a variety of different components on drones if you're going to actually put drones in the air.
Yeah.
Because one supplier is not going to be able to solve this.
Yeah.
You have to go back to Freedom's Forge approach where you're going to need 10, 15 deep across the board if we're actually going to compete in modern warfare. Because modern warfare is about mass. You always will have the exquisite platforms, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But attritable mass is fundamentally changing the game.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Iran's doing to the global oil infrastructure with $200,000 shaheeds.
Yeah,
they're not 30 grand. Don't listen to that shit. Yeah, that's just a nice talking point. All right, so give me a hot take. What are people who are not in the industry like we are missing?
People that aren't in the industry or in the industry?
No, that are not in the industry.
That are not in the industry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not in the industry. I mean, an easy one is just how that attritable and expendable is here. Like, it's not a tomorrow thing anymore. And how, I mean, you teed this up for me pretty nicely, but it's true, is that how bad the infrastructure is from a defense standpoint in the U.S. Like I have customers that can't even buy things like simple fuel pumps for reasonable prices in the United States. Like, they can't buy something for less than $6,000. So I think just how much there needs to be a shot in the arm, and how companies like Zulu Pods that focus on these, like, maybe could be seen as boring things, boring products, how truly critical they're going to be.
Boring wins wars.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that is and how big the markets actually how big these markets could be. I mean, right now with we're on like 10 different customers. I use this just as a pipeline, and I don't expect to. I mean, we're going to win a lot of this, but like I'll sell like 64,000 of these things over the next 5 to 6 years. So if somebody comes to us and now they need other components, we'll multiply that by 4 or 5, right? Even if the margins aren't super high, I mean that's a pretty good.
That is a great business. Yeah, it is a overlooked and great business.
So we want to be like, like take the turbojet that powers this guy. Like, they come, instead of having to go to 5 or 6 vendors to design all those external components, we'll give them the whole. It's a platform play. We'll give you everything. Come to us for this, and we'll give it all to you. The advantage we have too that a lot of component companies don't have is that we understand the system really well. Like, our team comes from Pratt, like a bunch of us, so we understand things at the system level. which then it makes it really easy to know how to design, or easier, how these components should function. And again, not leaving like things on the table. Like our philosophy is design a car for a mile, and take that approach with jet engines, with components, and you'll deliver the lowest cost, best performing component. Because I think we got to try to be perfect in the U.S. industrial base, in the sense of don't pay attention to details, because we're going to have to make, even though they're going to be low cost and they're going to be expendable and attritable, they're not going to be dogs. They're not going to be, they have to be great still.
Yeah.
Right? So let's not confuse cost for poor quality or good enough. It's got to, the stuff that we deliver to the warfighters got to be the best technology that they can get their hands in. And I very much believe that.
Yeah. Last question. Okay?
Sure.
What are you reading or consuming right now outside of work?
I try to listen to pods, and try to listen to some audiobooks here and there, mainly focused on building great companies and entrepreneurial kind of biography type things. And
give me a memorable one, man. I love a good book rec. Or pod.
Yeah, I mean, so the All In podcast, I'll listen to that. I try to listen to that. I listen to some of the Journal Ultimatum stuff that Simone does, 'cause he's got some good guests that he gets on there. Those are probably two that I'll when I do have some downtime, those are probably two that I'll catch up on the most. I actually read just a good amount of articles that I see on LinkedIn.
Sure.
And because you can get some pretty good short 5-minute reads that I'll find on there from various authors. So
yeah.
How about yourself?
Right now, I am reading a book that analyzes how good the Nazi economy actually was, because there's a lot of stories about how incredible they were at building stuff. The guy basically bases a lot of this on research, and is the war was over by 1942 because the Germans were not able to scale basic components. And then they started turning to wonder weapons like V2, and a certain submarine, when in fact they were already on a defensive foot, and they should have been rethinking about how to fight a defensive war and be a lot more reasonable with how they would allocate resources. It's super dense, but it's written really, really well. It's good.
Do you see
it's
any
called I think The Wages of War. I'll tell you real quick.
Do you see any of that anything where you mirror that or match that back to what you see happening going on in the U.S. right now from an infrastructure standpoint?
Yeah, I mean kind of pre and post Albert Speer kind of running the German economy, and he was really good at playing politics. That's how he was able to kind of build his empire. They did do an incredible job of focusing and subsidizing crucial technologies and industries. I think they probably rushed a couple technologies into the battlefield faster than they should have, and that's reasonable because you're fighting wars with everybody constantly. But I think they did have an understanding, at least in the build up to the war, and they knew they were going to need 3 or 4 years to kind of get the machine running, and it was very interesting to see how they did that.
Interesting.
So the whole point is take a longer term look at this stuff. We can't just snap our fingers and overnight. We have a defense industrial base. So
cool, man.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Hey, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Bet, bud. Thanks for listening to the Drone Wars podcast. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe to catch all the latest insights for all things defense and geopolitics.